My name is, and your life is going to change. You are going to be different. My name is, and your life is going to change. You are going to be different. My name is, and your life is going to change. You are going to be different. You are going to be out. You are going to be bigger and larger than ever. That is the possibility. Why? Because you and I will find the power that's been dormant inside of you all of this time. And all of this time, you were afraid to go out and perform. That means you will be shine. You will be the God when God is coming. You will be the one that everybody comes to and says, hey, look, they're there. The master's there. The teacher there. There's the one that will make my life different. And who am I to do that? Remember, my stuff. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to change your life. Go up and be this and be together. I'm going to accomplish the world. Before you know it, everything you imagine is possible. For one simple reason, anything is possible. My name is, and your life is going to change. You are going to be different. My name is, and your life is going to change. You are going to be different.
And welcome again to another broadcast of Uncommon Sense. We kick off Season 2. And what are we doing in Season 2? We're talking about possibilities and possibility thinking. Except that today we're going to apply it to relationships. When you think in terms of possibilities, when you think in terms of what it is that you can do for humanity, what it is that you can do for yourself, and in your short time on earth, when you're linking up and creating relationships with other people, whether it's male, female, animal, vegetable, mineral, it doesn't matter. But when you're creating relationships with other sentient beings, then you begin to realize it's not as easy a ride as you would have thought. It's easy if you could be in love with somebody who does everything you want them to do, everything you dreamed imaginable. Now that would be like someone who obeys, who doesn't disobey, someone who says everything you want them to say, who does everything you want them to do and exactly the way you want it to do and exactly the time in which you want it to be done. Well, now you're talking about a dog or a silicone doll that's robotic and within 3 years will be a reality. And so you're not sure if this is a real relationship. And a relationship is where you want to be appreciated for who you are. And it's a mutual benefit. It's not just one way. It's not some clown saying to you, I love 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 you. And you getting nothing in return. The feeling should be mutual. And when the feeling is mutual, then it's a wonderful feeling. Otherwise, you are a stalker. Congratulations. That's not love. That's something else. So let me welcome people into the room. Vin, welcome from Australia. Lawrence from Canada. Onchad, welcome from Thailand, I think. And Ashok, welcome from New York. Ayusa Korn, welcome from Thailand. And my dad is watching. Welcome, Babji. So here we're going to talk about relationships. And somewhere along the way, what I'd like to do is to bring on one or two people who will talk about relationships. We have Ashok Thakur, who's listening in from New York, and he's a great relationship guru and master. Hello from Thailand. I can't read Thai, so I don't know what your name is. Could you anglicize it so that we can pronounce it at least? That'll be very, very cool. Thank you so much for listening. And we also have someone, a special guest from Germany. My son's soon-to-be wife. And my mother's watching too. Hello, Momji. Welcome to the room. And so let's have these people come in and talk about relationships. I think to make it possible for them to come in, I got to copy this to my clipboard. I got to post it right here and do a Command V and hit a return button. I have to do it around this microphone. So just click on that connection that you see, and you are now in the back room waiting for me to bring you in to talk about relationships. Now, before we begin this whole discussion about relationships and everything else, I wanted to be able to bring you to a point where you can start thinking in terms of signs that you can look for, or even what it is that people do to improve their relationships, or somebody have said to me, well, I'm looking for an enlightened relationship, and I said, well, that's very cool. Are you enlightened? And they go, I don't know. Well, good. Then how are you going to know what an enlightened relationship is? So let me give you some idea of what they might be. When your relationship with your significant other is based on equality, that means it's not man first, woman second, second class citizen. The man has more authority, more power, the blah, 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 and all the other stuff you hear from nightmarish relationships. If the relationship is based on equality, then they will survive. But also at the same time will never really thrive, because love is the unity that comes from seeing yourself in another person and the other person in yourself. Because if it's based on inequality, it will never survive. Equality, it will. So when you see yourself in the other person, and the other person is a significant part of you, then they are also a significant part of your life. Because despite the inevitable differences in finances that you will have, or even education, because both of you are from different backgrounds, or physical beauty, if you will, or even IQ, there have been discussions of, oh, you are so high, oh, you're so low, whatever that means. Your deep and unassailable self-talk must always be, I'm not alone in this relationship, because we're equal. I'm not above you or beneath you. We are different expressions of the same underlying being, and therefore of equal value. Because when you are you in your world, she is she, or he is he in his world, but together you are a different entity altogether. And the way in which you approach the world is also the same in that way. So when you pray, when you play together, you're playing as a unit together. You're not individual people doing your stuff. You're known as this couple. That's why people are so fond of saying, when couples get together, Brangelina, and then there's, which actually sounds like a breakfast cereal, if you ask me. Have you had your Brangelina today? No, not really. I ran out of milk, so I can't do that. Whatever the case might be, I have no idea. So when you take a look at relationships, you want to know that enlightened relationships are also mirrors of yourself, if you will. There's a discord in a relationship. If there is a discord in a relationship, ask yourself, what is your part in contributing to that discord, to that conflict, to that friction? What part do you play in that? It's not always somebody else. So before blaming the other person for this, you need to search yourself and see what you might be able to think or say or do differently to be able to shift all of the dynamics that causes the friction, the pain, the suffering, and whatever else. So if you're seeking more attention, well, can you be more attentive so that you would get the attention as well? Or if you're seeking more affection, can you be more affectionate? You see, seeing other people as mirrors of yourself empowers you to change someone over whom you have control, and who ultimately has control over your emotions as well. So rather than becoming frustrated with your inability to change somebody else, seek to change what it is that you are communicating to someone. The cardinal rule of communication is very simple. The meaning of your communication is the response that you get from other people. And if they react violently, it means your meaning of what you said, even though you have good intentions, the meaning was construed as hostile. So you need to find a different way to approach, a different way to say that to someone. Now, if you are in a relationship that's going to progress and grow, that is healthy and wonderful, your relationships must have room for change. It's common for people to tell their partner, "You're not the same person I married," although this is usually sometimes hurled as an accusation. "You don't bring me flowers anymore. You don't, so on and so forth." It's a statement of reality, but yet everyone is carried along by this river of change, and no one is paying attention to that, because every single day you are a completely different person, depending on the books you read, the movies you watch, on the people you meet, on the friends you have, from the dialogues you have, the schools you go to learn, your educational differences. So everyone is carried along by this river, and the river is changing all the time. The scenery is changing all the time, and two individuals will not necessarily change in the same way and in the same place and at the same time. So there will be differences, and you have to be so flexible and so willing to bend that, like a willow, you won't break. And if you're inflexible, well, get ready for a lot of suffering. Now, you must also look for ways for your relationship to accommodate and celebrate each one's, life change that they are going through, while also seeking to maintain the connection and the commitment that transcends this fields of change that are always taking place. Always notice that when you're in someone's life, you are not in someone's life so that they can get that they can give you something and you can get something from them. It's not that so much as it is I'm in their life because I think I can make their life better. But in the process, I think because my joy, my happiness is self-created, I don't need them to be responsible for making me happy. So instead, I will make myself happy, and she will make herself happy. Let's say it's she right now. And so when we're together, we just are happier. We're two happy people having a really good time together. And instead of being bound together by a piece of paper on a wall or by some promise made in some obscure time when you were relatively insecure, and who knows, right? So you want to be in a healthy relationship or an enlightened relationship. Tell yourself, in my relationships, I let the past be the past. I will not bring it up. In every relationship, people experience conflicts and they experience difficulties as well. That's very funny. I just told this boy of mine, Luke, hi, welcome to the live show.
Oh, you're on live right now.
I'm on live, and remember, get Ellie. The reason I answered this is I want Ellie to get ready and just go to my fan page, and you'll see the link, and I'll bring her on.
Okay, I think she'll need a few minutes to get ready. She'll see you there soon.
All right. Sorry, I had to take that because Ellie is not aware that she's going to be on this show. And so now she's got to make up, she's got to do this, and lipstick, and what have you, and da-da-da-da-da. And the link will be here, and we'll talk about Germany. We'll talk about how the European way of loving and all of that would be very, very interesting as well. And I know because I've seen my son from very young to now deal with his relationships in the past, and I think he's on to a very more mature living right now, a way of living and way of life. So it's very, very useful. Oh dear, I lost my feed, and so I can't see the questions and stuff. Let me put it back. In the meanwhile, if you'd like to be part of this program, please feel free. Oh, here we are. I am still live. It just was on a different page. And so we are back. What was I talking about? Conflict. No. Yes, the past. The past be the past. Leave the past alone. Every new conflict that arises should arise only in that situation and should refer to this situation and never refer to the past. because every relationship, people experience difficulties and such. Then some of the difficulties leave a residue of emotions and resentment and these remnants of past battles. Sometimes they use as weapons or armaments in the next argument. So you need to learn how to not do that and be more aware of living mindfully in the present moment, because this is a new person. The person you met a year ago, 2 years ago, is completely different from this person because she's learned more. The days have passed more. Some people go into an unhealthy concept of a relationship by thinking that that person should remain exactly the same. If that person remains exactly the same, it means that they probably have some form of brain trauma and nothing is being learned and they're not getting ahead and there's no improvements in their lives. But if you're healthy and like everybody else and you have a chance to make mistakes and you recover from your mistakes and you recover and become better, obviously, then carrying the past into the present tends to escalate a lot of conflicts. But if you are mindful and in the present moment, then you will forget all of that has happened and leave it behind where it belongs. The past is the past. Don't drag other people into your need to be able to find closure or somewhere. Find a psychologist. That's their job, to help you find closure. So when you start to bring up things from the past, it escalates the conflict, and it never, ever helps you to get your needs met. Just remember, though, if you're the receiving end of anger from your spouse or somebody else's spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, camel, then you have to be cognizant of the fact that whatever they're shouting at with you is not about now, it's about their past. And if they're willing to keep it in the past, then you will have a better time. But if it is part of this, then and current issue, and you bring it from the past into the current issue, then you're dealing with what the Far East calls a roja, like a mishmash of stuff that is not identifiable. Everything is linked to everything. Even the way you breathe is wrong, and so on and so forth. So what does that mean? That means that if you want to be in a healthy relationship with someone that's progressing and not degressing, that's evolving and not devolving, then you need to choose to be happy instead of being right all the time. You have to be right. You have to be the one who is never wrong, and so on and so forth. If you engage in a win-lose type of orientation in your relationships, there will be times when you experience this fleeting exhilaration or winning an argument and so on and so forth, when you do have one, as well as the temporary frustration of losing an argument. But you have to let it go at that point, you see, because however you win or lose, neither winning or losing translates in the long term into loving. You see, we have an insane need to be right all the time. And so I ask you a very simple question. You want to be happy or you want to be right? Because if you are big enough, of a soul that you can afford to be wrong, it doesn't matter if you're wrong, because in the long run, you will win the battle but lose the war. And the war is the relationship. The prize is the relationship at a healthy stage. So the alternative is to look beyond the obvious differences and to seek the common ground between both of you. Take small steps, if you want to, in the direction of the other person's position, and then ask for a similar level of compromise. Example, both of you disagree on what to eat and so on and so forth. Let's say for dinner and you're having a big fight. You always choose pizza. I don't know what to fight about. It's been a while since I had a real fight. Usually the fights I have are people who are can't even finish the sentence. It's not normal. I haven't had a healthy fight in a long time. I just realized that. It's always been some degree of psychosis or neurosis involved in all of that. But anyway, regardless, let's say you disagree about restaurants and strongly disagree about restaurants because you're fixated on pizza, and this other person, your spouse, friend, whatever, lover, is involved heavily with burgers. And so what you can do is you can come to a compromise situation where you can say, hey, listen, I know a place that serves both pizza and burgers. You want to try that? And so on and so forth. So you find a common ground between the both of you, or you can explore new territory and say, hey, let's do this pizza this week or burger this week, and next week let's do pizza. You take turns, and so on and so forth. So in effect, what you're doing is the most important thing, which is to nurture your relationships with mindfulness, with attention, with affection, for sure, with appreciation, and with time. Because all relationships take time. You can't have total trust immediately. It's 100%. You trust me or you don't trust me. That's very stupid. And that's from movies and bullshit scripts and stuff that don't work. It takes time to build trust in a relationship. It takes time to solidify goals. It takes time to build everything. Not everything is done with a Hollywood movie. So whenever you put your attention on something, that thing tends to grow stronger in your life. So if you want a relationship to flourish, well, you must be willing to nurture it and put your attention on it with really abundant attention, not just attention, but abundant and an abundance of affection, an abundance of appreciation, and time. We demonstrate our priorities by how much of these vital ingredients we're willing to give. And the more we give, the more we receive in return, because the relationship, as it grows, is a form of a gift. You are nurturing your garden in such a way, and consider the relationship a garden, that you're pruning all of the weeds and you're getting all of the dead flowers and dead things all away and everything else. So as a result, you are now looking at a well-pruned garden. A relationship is pretty much like that. The gardener is your mind. What is your mind thinking about? What do you want to have? And so on and so forth. So tell yourself that you're prepared to communicate your expectations to your partner. The more consciously you can identify and communicate your expectations, well, the more likely you are to create a healthy and evolving bond that is growing all the time. And if you feel uncomfortable because you're not receiving a good return, quote unquote, on your emotional investment, ask yourself what you need that you're not getting. And maybe that need is not going to come from your partner, but it needs to come from somewhere else. Let's say you had a bad relationship with one of your parents, your father, your mother, and so on and so forth. Well, it's not your spouse's or partner's responsibility to fill that empty hole. It's a psychologist's job. And your partner didn't sign up for that. They signed up to give love and so on and so forth, but not to be your therapist for life. You have to listen to me because you love me. So I'm going to tell you all of this garbage from start to finish, negative stuff going on. It's like, oh my God, there's more negative here. Is this worth it? I don't think so. Everybody signs up in a relationship not to be miserable. Everybody signs up in a relationship not to attend some sort of a college program where they are, learning to be a psychologist or a counselor. They really just would like to have more fun in a relationship. So if you ask yourself, if you're not getting your needs met, then maybe the needs should be filled by something inside of you. Maybe you need to change your thinking. Maybe you need to clear up that emptiness inside of you. Then if you look at all of your past relationships, in fact, if you line up all of your past relationships, people in front of you mentally, look at all of them. They're all together a sign of your mental problems, what mental problems you have, because somehow you attracted them. Somehow they are there. Somehow you're part of this. You signed up for something like this. So you have a part to play in making this happen. It's not the magical attract like a magnet sort of thing, but somehow a part of your unconscious is aware. So you need to express your needs in ways that maximize the probability of getting them met. You do it in a very nice way, not in a whining child way, but in a as adults. This includes maybe hearing what the other person requires and being able to negotiate something that you can give, that is possible for you to give. So commit to the power of love and don't allow the accumulation inside of you of toxic emotions that constrict your heart and your soul, and instead keep your sights on the loving being that you can be and that you deserve to be. So if you listen to the wisdom of your heart, it will guide you into this higher expressions of love, and therefore at that point be very, very open with the other person and let them know what it is you expect, what it is you need, and then you will grow from being addictive in that relationship to being what's the opposite of addictive? Free? Enlightened. Sorry. From being addicted to being enlightened in that relationship. So remember, be present. Fights are normal. They happen. They intensify in some relationships. But when we aren't in the present moment, it gets even worse. So when we are not present in that, thoughts take over, they move us towards the negative because we're geared towards the negative most of the time. So whenever I feel a need to attack someone or fight or even criticize somebody else, I focus on my breath for a few minutes to ground me in the present moment. I go into a song, and I won't say the song in my head because people who I have fights with are listening. But I have the song singing in my head. And when I play in my head, I calm down. And I remember my own advice that I give out to people and I never sometimes pay attention to. CTFD. Mel, CTFD. Calm the fuck down. And that's what I do. The other way in which you can make this work as well and become more enlightened instead of addicted in this relationship is to accept your partner for who she or he or it is. I don't know who your partner is going to be. See, when you enter into a relationship with someone, you indirectly are telling them, I accept you as you are. Wanting to change the other person to something better comes from an ego state. That will never be satisfied. They will never change. They will never adjust to what you want them to be. So I learned the very hard way in this life that people don't change easily, and accepting them as they are is the only peaceful step towards happiness. But then again, some people will accuse you and say something like, you don't really know who I am. Don't be defensive. Look at them and say, you're absolutely correct. When we first met, I never knew who you were. And every day you're changing. So I will never, ever know who you are because you are changing all the time. And I'm changing all the time. And you will never, ever know who we are as a person or who we will be. But we're walking the path together. And every day we meet a new person who has presumably grown. Because love is not a stagnant thing. Love is dynamic. Love is a state of being that increases, decreases, grows, goes left, goes right, becomes small, becomes big. Love is never outside. It's not dependent on an external object. Let me give you my heart. And love could even sound like this guy who's telling me the time all the time. My computer. So if I make a judgment and say, oh, you have a funny voice, and I'm not helping in that relationship, that's this person's voice. So if I want a better relationship with my computer, I think I went off on a tangent right then, but you know what I mean. I need to be accepting of that. This is the person's limitations, that's their voice. This is the person looking like a box, that's they. and so on and so forth. So love grows. It's a state of being. It's not a thought. It's not a feeling. It's two people being present with each other. And if it's strong enough, it will prevail. Love doesn't depend on someone else. It doesn't begin with them either. Love, true love, actually starts with us, inside of us. And it shines through to other people. So other people are like the catalyst. Your love is the catalyst that makes the love that's already in you want to bubble out. You want to give so much, and allow it to be received in whatever way that person receives it, because that person is different from you. Remember, I told you in the beginning of this podcast that they are brought up in a different way, in a different educational system, different parents, different moralities, different value systems in the way they see the world, and they're always evolving and changing all the time. So when you communicate so that people will grow, this true communication is really communion. That's what it is. For successful communication to take place, the mind must be at its lowest energy level. See, I learned from my past relationships that without communication, there is no actual relationship, only the illusion of a relationship. I mean, you can have somebody emailing you or sending you messages all the time. I love you, but it's all one way. It's an illusion of love. And so they imagine that the beloved receiving the I love you feels the same way, but it's not. It's an illusion. And they will suffer, and they will feel great suffering inside of them when it's not requited, it's not returned. So when we communicate, we should put aside all mind games and emotional tricks that we have, manipulations. I want to kill myself if you don't listen to me. These are all games. We must remember that we're communicating to commune, not to win, not to get our way, not to be able to say, I made this person love me. No, you cannot make anybody love you. You can become so wonderful, you can become so giving, you can become so easy that loving you is a cinch. It's so easy. So what you need to do, you need to create space. So in the past, when people spoke of space, in relationships, I had always assumed that they were referring to physical space. Now, after many, many years, I understand that it goes actually much deeper than this. Finding space in love comes from a mental and emotional place where we allow love to enter naturally, and if we need to be able to bow out gracefully as well. So for real transformation to take place in a relationship and for love to flourish, partners need to create and to honor that space inside of them. People need time. People need to be able to breathe and to be able to be themselves, whatever themselves are. They cannot act a part for you, pretend to be such for you, because then they are no longer themselves and it's something else as well. What on earth is this creature? That's the joy of being in the tropics. You get all kinds of strange creatures that crawl all over your computers, and you wonder where the hell they come from. It's been raining outside, so I don't blame them for wanting to seek dry shelter indoors, but not on my computers, guys. I mean, come on. So anyway, no love shown there. So regardless, in a relationship with another being, again, man, woman, animal, makes no difference. I don't judge. And you have to be glad that you're in the relationship. You have to be glad for the good. You have to be glad for the bad, because it's a whole package deal. It's not just all good. I personally am always grateful for all the bad things that happen in my life. Not that I want more of them, rather than the good stuff that happens, because I'm challenged a little bit more. I find out more about who I am, what I'm trying to do, what I'm capable of doing. And it's only through the bad that I can learn and grow. When bad things happen in a relationship, then we take them as a chance, to improve our own spiritual practice with your partner, your own partner, my own partner. So negative experiences can be a blessing in disguise, especially in romantic relationships. So if we benefit from the presence, we can actually transform the future of that relationship. Now, you have to understand, oh, wait. Yes, hi. Further up on the feed, Elizabeth, there is a connection. In fact, you know what? I'll do it again so that you'll have it. And if you click on that, then you will be in the StreamYard studio, and you will be in the back room, and I'll be able to bring you forward, and we'll have a little discussion. So if you can get ready, that would be great. This is Luke's partner, and she will chat with me about what we'll have to do, and so on and so forth. One more thing before we go to Elizabeth. A relationship will not save you. A relationship will not save you. One reason most of my past relationships failed was because I was looking to find myself in somebody else. I wanted salvation, just like all those stupid romantic movies that we watch, and things that stuck in my head when I was a child, especially watching Sound of Music when I was 9 years old, and it tattooed in my brain all the things that were not useful in making a relationship last forever, because not everybody is Maria the nun. I wanted my salvation to appear in the form of a lover, and but we're all complete. We're all already saved, and this is something that I had to learn the very hard way through many relationships. And the only thing we can do is to share our completeness. And I was responsible for my own completement and my own salvation before I could offer myself to somebody as a relationship. So don't accuse each other of being unconscious in the relationship. You see, when we're faced with any form of pain in a relationship, we can sometimes become unconscious to our situation and throw a lot of accusations and blame the partner for everything that happens. And by doing that, we tend to intensify this unconsciousness that is already present in us. And we bring it out in our partner, and we make them even worse. We become the catalyst for the destruction of the relationship instead of the growth of that relationship. And I've learned that when one partner is caught up in pain or negativity, it's important for the other person to bring them back to the surface, which is what I've done in all my relationships in the past, bring them back to the surface until it comes to a point where I ask myself, should I not? Nah, I'll let it go this time. And then that's when a relationship ends, basically. So always, always, always remember, start with yourself. I always thought real transformation began outside of us. I was wrong, very wrong. Real transformations begin inside. And everything I've learned outside of school. So, and I also realized that I had to go through a lot of pain to be able to recognize how to not create more pain. I also recognized that for me to have intense pleasure in any relationship, that I would need to experience intense pain as well. So we are present, we're conscious, we're evolving in a relationship, and we can directly mirror this growth to our partner at any one time as well. Ellie, guten Tag.
Hi, guten Tag. Hi, Mel. How are you?
I am good. I am good. What you want to do is to turn down the Facebook, like to zero.
Turn down.
Facebook is zero, or switch off Facebook.
Switch off Facebook.
Yeah, you are in StreamYard right now, right?
Like that?
Okay, let's speak and no, because you're still hearing a lag.
Shall we? I'm connected to my Bluetooth speaker, so maybe it's. Is it better now? Can you hear me better?
It is much better. Yes, a lot. I think it is more or less loud.
Okay.
But are you
That's
on? Are you talking to me on Facebook or
I'm
StreamYard?
talking through StreamYard.
Okay, turn off Facebook.
Turn off. I haven't turned it. It's not turned on. Look,
You're not turned on? That's good. We're on a show. You shouldn't be turned on yet. It's a joke.
Not. I'm closing.
Do you have headphones? You have
I have
headphones?
headphones. Yes, I do.
Tell Luke to go fetch headphones.
Here they are.
Attach them to your computer. That's why I use this, so that we don't have feedback going back and forth. But they shouldn't. The sound should be in your ears and not on the. Do you hear me now?
Now they're connected.
Now, can you hear me? You nod your head. You can hear me.
Yes.
If you cannot hear me, it will go like this. All right.
I can hear you.
There you go. Good. Now we're perfect. Now we don't get any back sounds and what have you. Today's topic is about relationships, and I know that there's a relationship master in New York who's not coming up here and teaching us about relationships. He's known as the shy shaman of New York. The shy shaman of New York. There you go. What a good name. You know who I'm talking about, Ashok, right? But I wanted to talk to you from your perspective because you're a millennial. And unlike people like me who've been through a lot and relationship cycles and things that go on in our life, easy for people like me to say enlightened relationships, learn to let go, boo, 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 and all of this because we're older and, we're supposedly wiser and what have you. And you are part of this whole millennial group that's listening to advice from all of these people like me that you shouldn't be listening to, but living your own advice and your own heart, telling you what you should do. And I know my son, he's not an easy guy to be with, right?
It depends. I think that works both ways, the same way.
Oh, okay. So see, so if you're listening in, this is what I'm talking about, where she sought the common ground and she did it in a very nice way. Elizabeth, one thing I like about Elizabeth is the fact that it's so easy to talk to her. Very easy. There's no airs. She doesn't, have a nose up in the air about anything. And I'm talking about you. And that you and you're very easy to get along. You're very malleable, and you're like me in many ways. You keep the place clean and almost to the point where I'm OCD about, making sure this is clear.
Yes.
Yesterday
was a long cleaning day.
Oh, I love to hear that in that place. Yes.
Yes, it looks amazing.
What I wanted to know is that you have a lot of people who are listening who are also millennials. They're interested in how you approach the subject of love and long-term relationships. How do you avoid conflict? Or when you have conflict, which is inevitable, I know you guys fight, walls are thin, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and how do you deal with conflict? When you have
how do we deal with conflicts?
Yeah, how do you guys fight without killing each other? That's another way to phrase the question.
Talking to each other, approaching.
How do you guys, you and Luke, talk to each other without killing each other?
Without killing each other, confronting each other.
You do.
First of all, with the topic, whatever it is about.
Who does the confronting, you or him?
Who does the confronting? He does. He confronts first. I had in the beginning difficulties to confront him directly, but
you're learning. Oh,
Yes,
good.
I've been learning.
And so, how do you learn? I mean, like, do you learn because the times when you don't raise your voice, you feel as if you haven't communicated it, so you feel bad and you want to improve that the next time? What
Yes.
advice would you give somebody who's now in a relationship and who is experiencing conflict in their relationship? What would you advise them to do? Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4?
What I would do, first of all, I would before I would approach my partner with conflict, I would think about myself. Okay, I would think myself. Is that how would I? That's a good question. How does the process?
No, it all you have to do is remember how you deal with Luke, or somebody else before Luke, or I don't know how many there are, but we don't have to go through your whole life.
I'm thinking really hard right now about the question. So what should I do if I face difficulties?
How about when he gets belligerent and he's wrong, but he, makes the case worse? How do you deal with that? Do you just stomp off or leave the house, take a walk? What do you do?
No, I would like to face the difficulty. I would like to talk to him, starting to talk to him, and seeing his point of view. Then for sure.
And when he's in that mood, how do you do it? I mean, do you shout at him and say, Chanel, yeah, come here now?
No. I'm not the person who shouts a lot. No.
Oh, not like that.
No. And so I stay relatively calm. I stay calm. I'm listening. I'm trying to listen to him and let him finish what he has to say, and then I usually tell him my point of view, and then we talk about the issue. What can we do? What can we do to either go wherever we would like to go, to kind of to not get to.
So in other words,
to a conclusion.
You're here.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be emotionally over there? Right. Good. So you're aware of this. Is this awareness because of your social work background, or is it because of the way you naturally are? Is it the way Germans naturally are? Is it because you're from Berlin, right? Or general village areas of Berlin,
yes.
But are the people in your family like that? Your neighbors like that? Or is this a cultural thing, or is it Elizabeth from all her experience?
I think it's a mixture of everything. I think it's a mixture. It started for sure with my family, with my mom. She taught me a lot, and my grandfather also was a really important person in my life and throughout school and university. But Luke is also a huge has a huge influence, and I've been trying to train my awareness to train to get better. Lately, I've been struggling a little bit with my awareness, and yes. So
how come? Why?
How come? I think it is. Why is it? We've been trying, or I've been trying to find my way. I've been trying to find my way in this world, my way, my role in this world. And I think it's kind of my brain, it's occupied a lot with a lot of other things, and my awareness sometimes it's decreasing. It's not 100% there.
That's okay. That's normal. I mean, when you're caught up with trying to figure out your direction, where you need to go, and you're in the middle of bumfuck nowhere right now instead of what is familiar to you. And so if you're a person like me, you would appreciate that emptiness that Barna gives you. I mean, I'm not saying in a bad way. Barna has an emptiness which is very useful. I find very few relationships there, very few. I don't talk to people. It's like I'm in COVID situation over there anyway for years. So, in the apartment, so you can imagine what it's like. And so what I wanted to get to was this. You and Luke are relatively young, right? So far. Give it a couple of years, you're going to be middle-aged and you're going to be gone over the hill, and I won't be talking to you anymore because you'll have to go through a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But for now, there may be some people tuning in, right? Right now, we maybe have 25, 30 people listening in YouTube and a combination of Facebook as well. What advice would you give these people who are about between 21 to 31 years of age? What advice would you give them from your experience about how to make a relationship work? You're learning the hard way, very hard way. I mean, this is unusual circumstances and many things are unusual. Yeah. What advice would you give them?
Listen to your gut. Listen to your gut, and don't let other people. I mean, of course, talk to the persons who are important to you. In my case, my mom, for example, but listen to it, but definitely develop your own opinions, and doesn't let it have a too huge influence in your opinion. I think that is what I.
So if I hear you carefully, find some people stable that you can listen to get your normal. That then go back into instability and deal with that. Is that what you say? Find your equilibrium. Find your balance. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I've had a rare opportunity when I'm there in Varna to see you almost every other day. When you drink coffee and this and that, and I notice, and I'm so sorry, this is occupational hazard. I observe people, and I see what they're going through and all of that. And so once in a while, you notice I ask you, "Are you okay?" And are you okay? Have you noticed that quite a bit?
Yes.
Because I noticed that you're not, but yet you manage to smile. Where does that come from?
Yeah.
I know you're not good.
Smile.
Yeah, I know you're not feeling good. I know you're in a bad way. I know you want to explode, but still, yes. How's your day? You're always smiling. Why is that? How do you manage that? Teach us how to do what you do.
I think that is me. The smiling to keep. I mean, that's also, I think, how.
Like you could be an advertisement for toothpaste.
For toothpaste, am I smiling a lot? Really a lot?
It's good. It's a good sign. It's a good thing. Yeah.
I think that's totally me. I'm trying to not to bother other people.
Okay.
I'm trying not to bother other people with my
mental illness.
My feelings I have.
You know me, I finish sentences for you, which are not always good.
Yeah. No, that's always good. I'm really nervous.
Don't be nervous. What are you nervous about? You're just having a chat with me. And imagine when
Yeah.
we just got some cookies from the bakery. Okay, these little blueberry cookies that we
Yeah.
get once in a while. They're so good. And we're having a cup of coffee right now in the kitchen, and we're dunking our blueberries, and we're having a talk. This is all we're doing. So no need to be so
Okay.
stiff, because I notice you're so
Okay.
stiff. You see, there you go. Relax. There you go. Just put your tits on the table. Let's relax. Let's have a conversation.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Now, tell me something about. Because I wanted to get a German, then a Slovenian, and then later a New Yorker, and then a Canadian's point of view. Lawrence, get ready. You're going to be on the show. Maybe even Galia can come in and talk about the show a little bit. She's Bulgarian. She lives in Sofia. She's a Suggestopedia teacher. Or Joycelyn, who is Filipino in Scotland. I think I have the same Joycelyn. I'm not sure. There are two Joycelyns that join us, and so on and so forth. Luke doesn't want to come on because he hasn't shaved yet. In what? How many weeks? 4 weeks? 5 weeks?
He sent me. He sent me.
He sent you.
Thank you so much, Luke.
You are the sacrificial lamb that being put out there instead. But you can have your revenge later. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes people do things and they don't realize, that they're on air, and nobody wants to be on air. It reminds me of a friend of mine who had heard about shaving his private parts, and he tried to shave them, but he had no mirror, so he used his telephone as a mirror.
Yeah.
And he stopped doing that immediately after 5 minutes when he started getting a lot of likes.
Oh my God.
It's
It's amazing. It's hilarious.
Yes, he's live streaming everything. Anyway, breathe. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Okay. What I want to know is, from your perspective, somebody who's your age right now, you're how old?
30.
Wow.
30
Okay.
years old.
Yeah. Still a baby through all of life. You got a lot of growth to do and everything like that. And if you wanted to be happier in a relationship, what are some of the skills you wish you had? What are some of the abilities you wish you had? I remember when I was, just to give you an example, one of the abilities I wish I had when I was 30 was the ability to listen more to people instead of just talking.
Yes.
Yes. What else?
That is really important to listen. To talk better, to talk more often about whatever it is, what's going on, which is really important.
Do you hate it when couples, they have fights and they don't talk to each other? It's called stonewalling. Stonewalling is where you don't answer back and nobody speaks to each other. They look.
Oh, you're freezing right now. Hello, Mel. Okay.
And I just lost Ellie. Why? Because there is an internet problem with Bulgaria. So, and now I'm gonna bring her back on. There you go.
I'm so sorry, Mel. I don't know the Wi-Fi.
No, it's not you. It's not you. It's not you. There are solar flares that have started a few days ago and hitting the earth, causing massive lightning storms and everything everywhere, but also at the same time affecting our machinery and our phones and our phone lines and everything else. So that's exactly what happened. The last episode was cut off halfway. I was halfway talking. Yeah.
Okay.
So it didn't work. So don't worry about it. It will come back again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it gave you time to think and about what are you gonna say, about what are some of the things, the gifts If I could wave a magic wand, this is my magic wand, and I wave it and give you a magical gift that would make your relationship with Luke better, what would those gifts be? You would like to have more?
I would like to have more self-confidence.
Self-confidence, good. And?
Self-confidence. What else would I like to have? Self-confidence is really important.
Relationship-wise, yeah?
Mhm.
Something you both can use other than bra size. What else would you like different, more of?
That we both find our roles in that world. That we find
Your purpose.
the purpose. Yes.
Good.
That. To talk, to communication. Communication is important, always important.
Do you find it very hard to speak in English because you're thinking German most of the time?
Every once in a while, it's like, oh my God, please, Luke, you need to learn German. Yeah. So.
Because I notice your eyes are translating some things as well while you're talking to me, and so it's the translation that's causing a little bit of a lag from here to here. So it's okay.
I know.
It's all right. It's okay. I watch that. I'm aware of it, and it's all right. And everybody's like that as well. For me also, because I have a difficulty translating English to English. So.
That's good to have.
Yeah, that's a major problem. Major problem for me.
So this one is another one, and I think I think that is mostly it. Out of the top of my head.
You would like more hair at the top of your head?
No, I'm quite happy with that.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know.
Okay. I have been talking with you guys quite a bit, and maybe let me ask the question a different way.
Okay.
What kind of qualities would you wish Luke had, so it's easier to talk to him? One, we know he should be speaking German.
That would be amazing.
It should be easy. His grandmother was German. His mother is German. So
I know.
Why he didn't speak German, I don't know. She got screwed up with the whole French thing a little bit along the way. So it's a little bit of a hiccup. But it should be easy for them. I mean, every you should see, you were in Croton in the house, right?
Yeah.
That dining area every Thanksgiving was a German household. I mean, we're talking Operation Paperclip right there in that
so cool.
dining room. Yeah, and no one spoke English, so I had to learn very, very quickly, which prepared me for Frankfurt, the book fair. So I understood getting around and at least understand. So let me ask that way: if Luke was a little bit more, the relationship would be so much easier. I mean, everybody's relationship can get better. Even my relationships can get better. So if Luke was more German, you'd be able to chat, right? A little bit more.
Yes, a little bit more.
Yes. If he was more patient, is he more? No?
He's amazingly patient. He's one of the most patient people
you've
I
ever
know.
seen. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm helping you. The rest will have to be on your own. So I'm hoping you will kick in eventually. if he's bigger in some other areas, I don't know. Mentally, I'm talking
No,
mentally. No,
it's yeah.
I don't know where your mind went, but yeah.
No, no. Mm, it is Luke. To be honest, it is easy. It is easy to talk to Luke.
Oh,
It
okay. So
is.
you're the
It
difficult
is.
one.
I think so, but I am the difficult one. I think
You
I
are?
can't think about I can't think about anything
I'm
what
just
Luke could
joking.
do, what Luke could do in a different
Okay.
way.
Okay. You know me
Yeah,
roughly, right? Know me so
yeah,
far.
yeah,
I play a lot of practical jokes on people,
yeah,
and so people don't know what to expect from me at any one
yeah.
time. When we dialogue, it's so easy. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, yeah.
Why
Maybe.
is that? Why is that? I mean, other than you being scared to death talking to me, what else? The rest of it is easier, or I
You
feel like I feel like you're still scared of me.
I'm, it is.
And
I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect.
oh,
A
you
lot of
call
respect
fear
and
respect? Okay, good. Fear and
respect and
respect, are
fear.
they the same? Oh, you have respect and fear. Yes, like I respect and fear a tiger as well because
Yeah.
it will eat me. Do you feel like I'm about to eat you? Because I feel
No,
like you're so scared of me, you can't answer the questions and stuff. It's like, what am I saying?
I'm
Just
freezing.
be yourself.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
Relax,
trying
Ellie.
to.
Relax, relax. Breathe, breathe, relax.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
easy. Don't worry. Our interview, just to make you feel more relaxed, is a permanent record that thousands of people will watch.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I shouldn't have done that, but
It's like, oh my god, shit.
oh my god, shit! Good. You're more relaxed now. That's excellent. It's wonderful. Last interview, I chatted with the vice president of partnerships and all of that, going to the ISS,
Mm-hmm.
the International
Okay,
Space Station. Did you listen to that or had a chance to see
No,
it? Not yet. Okay, do listen to it.
unfortunately not.
And we
Yeah.
talked about possibility mind.
Mm-hmm.
When you wake up in the morning and you think in terms of possibilities,
Okay.
you become a happier person. And
Yeah.
so one of the ways in which you can improve your relationship with anybody, including yourself, and make you want to jump out of bed,
Yeah.
is to think, what do I have to look forward to? And you look at all the positives. You look forward to great breakfast, maybe. Then you look forward to the wonderful view from the balcony from the Black Sea. Then you look forward to, when you start to build these up, then your relationship with yourself and other people becomes so much better, especially your environment. And you're not fighting your environment. You're not struggling with this or struggling with that. It's all a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So if relationships, like say for instance, for now it's Luke, and when you're building this, you just look for the positives and you will find the positives. If you look for the negatives, you will find the negatives.
That's right.
Have you noticed that? Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. It's totally true.
So if there's one thing you'd like to improve and you'd like some advice from me about, what would that question be that you want me to answer for you to make your relationship better with my son? And the reason I'm asking you to ask me is because somehow I feel it's my fault that you are with my son. I mean, I could have made him better in so many different ways, but I didn't.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. And Luke is going, what the hell?
And Lucas,
No, I mean,
I'm
really.
sorry, Mel.
I mean, if there's something I can answer for you for your relationship between Luke to improve your relationship, ask me that question. Like, what can I do to make Luke blank? What can I do to da da da? Ask me any question on relationships. Oh, by the way, Shirley wrote and said, Ellie, you have a beautiful and therapeutic smile. It melts a heart for anyone.
Oh my God, Shirley.
How
Thank you,
nice.
Shirley. Thank you. That's really kind.
And she didn't mean it like a laser and it so melts and
I can't see all these comments.
No, you should be able to see it in StreamYard. What you're seeing in StreamYard at the top.
Here.
Yeah,
okay,
there
yes,
you are.
Now I can,
it's on,
now
it's
I
on
can
the
see
side.
it.
There you go.
Yes.
So many comments. Bing says that Miss Ellie is a bit nervous. Joycelyn says, yes, thank you for remembering me from Scotland. Gregor Ulaga is a person who's highly spiritual, highly philosophical, and he sends me an entire thesis. Sometimes it's not messages he sends me, entire thesis that I have to read to be able to understand what he says.
Yeah.
And then even then I understand halfway because I'm a very simple man. So I don't know a lot of things. And he sends me a lot of uplifting stuff as well. So you have any questions on relationships you'd like to ask me?
What would you recommend? What would you recommend in case of finding the purpose, our purpose, Luke's purpose, my purpose in life?
Okay. Let me answer this. When people are looking for the purpose in life, they're all going about it the wrong way. And what you need to pay attention to is this. When you say my purpose in life is, you are describing your character trait, who you are, what you are. It's like a direction. So purpose in life is not the points along the way. Purpose in life is like a direction, like north. Okay. And when you go north from Varna, you get Bucharest, the next city. Yeah. And then above that is the Ukraine and a few cities within there. And then you got Estonia, then you got Lithuania, and then you've got so on and so forth. You know, all of these cities and countries along the way are goals on your purpose of life. So your purpose is not to be this or to be that. Your purpose is you are. So the question is best answered when you say, I am. And that's your purpose in life. I am a what? Like the way I found out in 1991, believe it or not, a long time ago, is that my purpose in life was not to build a company. My purpose in life was not to heal people psychologically from this, that, the other thing. My purpose in life is to teach. I am a teacher. So I answer my purpose like this. I am a teacher. So the companies I build along the way are the goals and the directions along the way. The books I write teach. When I'm with you and Luke, I teach. When I'm alone, I teach. Even if I'm in a relationship with someone, even in bed, I teach. You know, you know, so on and so forth. You know, there's so many things that I find is natural. So sometimes what will happen with you is you'll find that your purpose in life is to nurture, to be a mother. You know, motherly. Your purpose in life could be to give. You are a giver. Your purpose in life is healing. I am a healer, and so on and so forth. So the way in which to find your purpose is to ask 5 of your very best friends and say, when you think of me, what's the first word that comes out of your mouth? That I am a what? And then ask your family the same question. And after the jokes, you know, you're an idiot, you're a da-da-da, you're a frog, you know, so on and so forth. They will answer you seriously because they know you're getting serious. And then they'll answer the question. And they say, well, you're a giver, or you're a leader, or you're an entrepreneur, or whatever. They'll tell you. So from there you will know. And both of you, by the way, are already living your purpose ever since you were very little, as children.
Yeah.
It's a subconscious thing that builds you and binds you on this path. So you don't have to discover, you don't have to find your purpose. You're already living your purpose. What you need to do is to be able to know what it is so that you can be aligned consciously and know
Okay.
what it is you're headed towards.
Yeah.
So do that exercise tomorrow. Well, actually, you still have time. It's still early over there. Ask your family,
It is,
ask your
yes.
friends, yeah, and ask them and see what they tell you and get the feedback. And when you see some overlaps, find the one that overlaps the most, and that
Okay.
is who you really are. Sometimes it's a blind
Okay.
spot. You don't even see that. It took a lot of time before I discovered that I am a teacher. Whatever I do, I'm living my purpose. And so, and some people think that when they find their purpose, it makes them automatically happy. No, it doesn't. You can be miserable as AF, you know, I hope
Yeah.
you know what that means, and as miserable as possible and still be following your purpose in life, like a lot of the poets and the writers and the tortured souls that come up with these brilliant artistic works and everything else. They're living their purpose, but they're tortured mentally. So the trick is to be happy, find a way to think in a happiness path, like choose to be happy at every moment while you do your purpose. And your purpose means that sometimes you will have course corrections along the way. You'll have to be blown off and you'll have to find a way to come back. And when you're aware of your purpose, you come back to get aligned again.
Yeah.
And that's it, basically. Yeah. It's
Okay.
not sudden fulfillment. People expect, oh, I found my purpose. And you find 2 years later, their purpose changed, you know, because they're deluding themselves. You know what I mean? Galia Bakova says, Mel, I might take it as a sign, not just a compliment, that you've taken me for a Suggestipedia teacher. And despite the fact I mentioned a few times in Otherwise Occupied, you go and introduce me as one. Galia is not happy. So she's not a Suggestipedia teacher. Galia Bakova, would you like to come online and chat with Ellie? Or Ashok, come online and chat with Ellie as well. Apologies, Galia. We need to have a chat offline one day and let's discover again. Maybe I have no clue who I'm talking to at some point. Yeah. Are you reading what she said? Yeah. And she's in Sofia right now, I think.
Okay.
Mm.
But what I realized while you were talking is that Luke introduced me to something which called the concept of love, something like to receive love and in different ways. For example, like gifts and time, and I think, yeah. What did I say? Love languages, right?
I have no clue what you just said.
Something. While you were talking, what I realized is
no, I understood. I understood all that. Yes, but why don't Luke pass the middleman and just come out there and tell us what he meant? Is he still naked? Anyway.
I think. Look, would you like?
No, it's okay. No? You communicate what he's trying to say.
Give me a second to go to the bathroom.
He will come in a second. He's coming.
Okay.
Awesome. Yes.
After that, he's gonna just be throwing a frown and he'll be upset and then he'll call me and say, "What the hell did you?" So I'm prepared for that. Ever since he was 6 years old. Yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
That's the joy of being a parent. Yeah.
Yes.
Happy Father's Day. Yes.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. Well, how cool is that? Anyway, if Ashok Thakur is listening, Ashok, I invite you to come on board. and chat with this young lady about love and what you are. The Shy Shaman from New York. Can you say that?
Okay, wow.
The Shy Shaman from New York.
The shy shaman.
The Shy Shaman.
Shy shaman.
The Shy Shaman picks seashells by the seashore. I'm kidding, but he'll be on soon, and he'll chat, and we'll see who it is. But question. Other than that, she is so cute. I wish I could come on the show, but if the relationship discussion continues on Friday, I will. What's wrong with you, Ashok? Come on now. Because on Friday, it's just all men mostly talking. So it would be good to have you on board as well. It would be a lot of fun. And don't say you're at work, because the work doesn't matter, man. It's okay. You'll go back to the work later. How often do you have a chance to chat with me and this beautiful girl?
Yep.
Yes, correct. Yeah, these are the things that matter the most. What's he doing?
Luke is finding his headphones. He's looking for his headphones.
Okay. You guys don't share the romantic 1 ear on one guy and the other ear on the other guy. They should invent They should invent headphones like that, shouldn't they?
They should do it. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm grabbing my headphones.
Okay. Which headphones are you looking for? The big ones? I think in your room, maybe.
All right. So organized. So did I answer your question about purpose?
Yes.
And now you'll be able to do that. Friday, I'd like to know what you find out when I come back on air. And it'll be very, very cool. Okay? And then you'll be surprised what you have achieved as well. Any other questions you'll have before Luke comes on? Any other questions?
How could I approach him or how could we communicate better, to start to communicate more open, better to...
I could give you some complicated answers with step 1, step 2, step 3, then do this, then do this, then do this, but you'll forget it as soon as I tell you this. If you want a shortcut that works for me and works for everyone, check your intention.
Okay.
When you're about to have a discussion, when you're about to have a confrontation, quote unquote, confrontation, or discuss something, what is your intention? There are only 2 intentions we have in any communication: the intention to hurt or the intention to heal.
Yeah.
So if you have an intention to heal and to build more love, then it will make everything subconsciously come in line. Your words, your language, your tone of voice. Because sometimes you can tell somebody, I love you. Don't you know this? You go up there and times I tell you that. Or you can have, I love you. In a your tone says everything. Yeah. Or you can say, I hate you.
Yeah.
And then smile. And yet people don't, the only words are I hate you, but yet they don't get that feeling because your intention is not to convey hurt and pain and so on and so forth. So before you confront your spouse, your soon-to-be spouse, your partner, it's been a while for me, so then what you want to do is your intention. What is your intention to approach the topic and to build more love, to understand? Then you will listen more and you will speak less your opinion, and you want to know what they're thinking and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And you don't use words that are, in English, the word is incendiary, which means that imagine you're both soaked in kerosene, some flammable thing. Don't use words that are like a match that will make and they'll just, be careful what you say, and you'll be sometimes aware. Yeah. So be aware of sometimes. Sometimes we also Ashok says, sometimes we also be aware of the impact, even though we have good intentions. Yes, she's so
Yeah.
cute. Oh yeah, but she said that anyway. Um, yes, the reason why you don't see me in too many conflict situations, have you noticed that? In almost
Mhm.
everybody, even though they're all idiots, most of them, uh, it is because my intention, knowing who they are, is not to hurt, but to
Yeah.
calm them down, and then to release them as much as I can from their
Mhm.
pain, from their hurt, from their. So if you notice, I use a lot of laughter as well. And I joke a lot like crazy. So to the point where
Mhm.
even my kids have to say, "Dad, be serious," da 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 da
Yeah.
da.
Yeah.
And Aurora, it's not like Luke so much. Luke is a little bit more lighthearted. He's had 6 years with me, no more than that, 8 years with me to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
And he watches by osmosis and all of that.
Mhm.
So if you notice that sometimes he will say the similar things that I would do and say.
Yeah.
And you learn by watching. So when you are a couple for a long time, I don't know if you've heard this, it's always true that after about 6 years or 5 years, couples tend to look like each other, tend to dress
Yes.
like each other, tend to sound like each other. It's like, holy shit, you'll have to take a second
I
look
know.
and say, oh my God,
Yes.
they really are a couple and inseparable. Who knows, that sort of thing. So it'll be nice. It'll be nice to have that. I'm here, not sure how to get on. Okay. Luke, this is not as complicated as the wedding night. Here, let me show him how to do it. And there is a link, and you see the link. All you have to do is click on that link that you see, and it will bring you into the studio automatically. You will be backstage, and I will pick you up. Where is he doing this from? He's doing this from the bedroom.
I think so. Yes.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
sure.
Okay, that's good. See, that's love. When you don't know where they are and they're still communicating with you.
I'm focused.
Yeah.
I'm so
And
focused on the show.
I have no idea where they are, but I'm talking to them. That's preferable to being together. And, they just won't go away. Shit.
Uh,
Yeah. And here we have
Good to be
Luke
on with
Duke.
you guys.
Welcome to the conversation. 2 different rooms. This is a family hour talk. How cool is this? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Luke, my son, and he has not shaved in how long?
It's been 3.5 months already since the beginning of this whole COVID thing.
This is a
And-
COVID beard.
Yeah, it's getting long.
Wow. And I would imagine your hair as well is that cap looked like it's bulging over with hair.
I got another week and a half of quarantine here before I can get to the barber. So looking forward to it.
Well, I'm glad you made it back to Bulgaria and had a chance to, you know how when you're there all the time and saying, "Oh God, damn motherfucking Bulgaria, what the hell are we doing this godforsaken?" How do you feel about it now?
I feel so blessed to be back here now. It was a little bit of a rough stay back in New York. Long story short, me and Ellie ended up staying about 3 months living in a car. And it just made everything so much better to be back here. Grateful for all the little things, grateful for the time together.
Yeah.
And family is great, but sometimes you need a little bit of space to miss them again, right?
Yes. How can
It's true. Yeah.
How can you miss them if they don't go away? Yeah, that's true. That's one of the posters in my house too. How can I miss you if you don't go away? Please go away so I can miss you. So you never know at some point. Anyway, that's my alarm clock. No, it's not a person. They said choose a voice. I chose German. I'm just kidding.
Always good.
So Luke, you were handing her a note to read for you, and she kind of botched it up. What were you trying to say?
Well, we'd been discussing recently. I don't remember who wrote the book, but there was someone that wrote something all about the different kinds of love languages. And, you know, it talks a lot about the fact that people receive love in different ways, whether it be
The 5
gifts,
languages of love. Yeah.
or, yeah,
Mm.
some gifts, time, and everyone likes to receive love in different ways. And I
Mhm.
think the biggest part about communication is it doesn't matter so much what you say, but what the other person receives, what they interpret.
Mhm.
And in the same sense, I think there's a lot of partners that are out there in the world today that, you know, have the best intentions in the world, but they simply aren't communicating correctly to their partner in a way that um, is absorbed in the same way that is meant.
Mhm.
And to be able
Were
to
you
learn your
speaking to me directly, or was it a message to Ellie?
I'm just trying to help the people here. It's something we learned
Oh,
within our
okay, okay.
relationship, and it's been
All
helping a
right.
lot. And
Yes. Galia says you look like. Oh, it was Gary Chapman who wrote the book. That's right. Gary Chapman. If you look at the comments on the side, you'll see it. He wrote the book, 5 Languages of Love and the 5 Languages of something and something. And there's a lot more that he did. But that came out about 15 years ago, maybe. Long time ago.
Mhm.
So what you're saying is that for love to succeed in any relationship, you told me what it must have. What must it not have to succeed?
I'm not sure there's anything it must not have. I mean, love.
Manipulation,
Well, I mean, I think
stonewalling.
if all of that is present, I'm not sure that is actually love.
Aha. Say more. Tell us more.
Well, I think it all boils down to constantly working on improving. The same way we work on self-development, you want to work on your development of personal relationships, and the ones that you want to go farther, you know, whether it be reading books about different strategies that would you know, give you insight into different ways to communicate, or whether it's you know, simply having those open talks with your partner. um, as long as you're constantly putting the work in and trying to improve, there's no limit.
Wow. Okay. I hope you heard that, Ellie. You're taking notes, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good.
I'm here. Yes, I'm listening.
So you've had a chance, Luke. You're almost 30, right?
Hmm. Yep. Coming up
Yeah,
soon.
coming up soon. That's shit. That's a long time.
Mhm.
What have you learned about this business of love? I mean, obviously, it's important to you. You're in a relationship. What's important to you? Why are you in a relationship? Other than the obvious reasons, so, you know, Adam and Eve, apples.
Well, I think once you begin to realize that love comes from the inside out rather than something that you're searching for outside, that's when you can really feel fully fulfilled in yourself. And if you're not fully fulfilled in yourself, then you're not going to be fulfilled in your relationship, because you're looking for almost like a missing jigsaw piece to the puzzle, and that doesn't exist. Um, and I think when you love someone for them, simply because you enjoy spending time with them, not because of a laundry list of rules and criteria that, you know, either someone out there or yourself have created, you know, you really release a lot of uh, baggage that really helps you feel freer and more in connection and sync with your partner.
So, what advice would you give? Hang on for a second. I just killed another creature. They're all over my computers. I don't know why. They're coming in from the rain. Yesterday, Singapore was underwater for the longest time. There's flooding everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And so out here, the fish pond is overflowing. So I can imagine the grass and everything is sogged and so everything is coming in, which also leads to the next question. Letting love in. What are the ways? I mean, I've seen you since you were 6 months old, actually 6 days old till now. And there are many times you never let love in.
Yeah.
But what allowed you finally to allow love in? What
I think
happened here?
Ellie was a huge catalyst for this. And I mean, we all know her, and every time we see her, she's smiling. You know, she treats everyone the same out on the street, you know, whether it's the guy sweeping the sidewalks or, you know, the top tier CEO. And
No, but we just
it's-
heard that she's smiling because she doesn't know how to translate from German to English. So she just smiles.
I think she always wants to emit the best to other people. And I think, you know, that's truly where love starts is, you know, once you can learn to love yourself, then you can share the love with everyone else. And it's simply about wanting the best for everyone in any given situation and wanting nothing in return.
Wow, you're able to do that? You're talking about unconditional love. You realize that?
Well, you know, I don't believe true love has a condition. You know, that was a big building block of mine and Ellie's relationship is, you know, we live in a society where a lot of people say, oh, if you love me, you have to do this and this and this. I don't think that's true love. That's a contract.
So true love has no condition, but true love in itself is a condition. It's a mind state.
I would say it's a mind state. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for someone to feel true love at any one time, and for conversely, for someone to be happy or to feel happy all the time, what must they choose on a daily, minute-to-minute basis?
I think if anyone feels happy all the time, they need to go to the psychiatric ward. That's, you know, the human condition to have a range of emotions. At the same time,
That's true.
you know, there is a way to feel happier more often and the majority of the time. And I think that all boils down to your mental state, what you choose to think about and how you choose to think about things. So when you
Example.
when you embrace things from the point of gratitude. So for example, a lot of people, what you compare yourself to, and you talk about this in the Meta Secret a lot as well. You know, if you compare yourself to Bill Gates, you're always going to feel poor. If you compare yourself to someone down in the slums of India, you're going to feel very rich. And conversely, in any given situation you go into, if you feel a little bit bad about it, you know, think in a way that's going to serve you. Think in a way that is going to make you feel grateful and well.
So if I compare myself, what you're saying is if I compare myself with Epstein, I will feel, no, never mind, we won't go there. But the point is you choose your comparisons is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Okay, good. So if we choose our comparisons wisely, what are Luke Gill's choices in how he compares? For everything, love, your situation, the happiness, the Varna.
Well, I just try to choose gratitude and look at, you know, how much there is around me to embrace. You know, in our relationships, if we're constantly looking outside our relationships for fulfillment and saying, "Oh, this could be better," there's, you know, there's that next shiny object syndrome, and you think, "Oh, you know, my partner is great in this field, but oh, look at how that other husband goes and works so much harder." And you see this a lot in Singapore. A lot of people are very money focused over there, and they say, "Oh, why can't you be more like X, Y, and Z's husband? You know, they work this many more hours and earn more money. They go shopping at this better shop, or you know, this."
It happens everywhere, not just in Singapore. Just so that you don't get a lot of hate letters, it happens everywhere in Bulgaria too.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, there's a mentality where, you know, whether it's, you know, financial or emotional or time, whatever it is, you're constantly looking for someone that has more or can be more, rather than looking at what's in front of you and helping
What
to
you
nourish
already have. Yeah.
what you have.
So you're talking about in Bulgaria, for instance, my friend and your friend Alexei, whose woman, you know, as he's leaving for work every day, and she kisses him goodbye at the door, you know, just gives him a wave or whatever, says hi, goodbye, and then finally looks at the neighbor where the neighbor's husband is actually kissing her, and then he says to her, "Why can't you be like him? Look at him, he kisses his wife." I said, "You want me to be like him?" Said, "Yeah." And so he walks over and kisses the other guy's wife. So he was, you know, obeying her, you know, whichever way he could. But so comparisons are very important. So in other words, what you're saying in a roundabout way is that be in the present moment with whoever you have, whatever there is that you have. Nobody
Absolutely.
else. Don't
Be here
think of
now.
anything else except what you have here, Ellie.
Yeah.
And she says, "Yeah, you better," because she has the scissors somewhere. So it's okay. All right, Luke, we are coming to another 10 minutes before we call this a day. And since Ashok, for some reason, has a black eye from his last date, so he's not going to be on the show tonight. He's going to let it heal with something else. And so he says, though, that Luke is a very smart man. I like how he's articulating and answering tough questions. And these are very tough questions, and you actually went smoothly through all of this.
Tough questions are the only kind my father gives.
Which father is that? Just hey, by the way, let me publicly thank you guys for getting me that what is it, 1 square inch of land in Scotland somewhere.
I think you got about 6 square meters or so.
Oh, is that right?
So,
Did I?
yeah.
Really? That's
Go
awesome.
visit one of these days.
I think I can build a very small house there. Maybe put a container on its side and do that. So
go.
I'm Lord now. Lord Mac. How cool is that?
Congratulations on your lordship.
Yes, and don't you forget it. We call it your lordship. I will not answer to anything else from now on. I want you both, not just Ellie listening and you, you know, she providing a nice little buffer between us, which we could make a lot of comments on because this sandwich looks familiar. No, it's Oreo. Just cookies. But this entire program has shifted in season 2 from uncommon sense to because nobody knows what the hell that is. What the hell is uncommon sense? It doesn't make any sense. So we're shifting to possibility thinking. And the subject today is relationships and love. I try in the beginning to talk about something practical that people can get involved in or a mind shift that they could take. Mm-hmm. Help me to wrap it up with some ideas of how having a relationship gives you the ability to think in terms of possibilities and therefore be more encouraged and happy, or vice versa. Maybe possibility thinking makes your relationship more vibrant, more alive, more, you know, more whatever. You finish the fill in the blank.
I think that largely depends on your partner and how much growth that they've gone through.
Ellie, have you got any growths that we can talk about?
I do, but Luke, finish first, please.
And I think when you find the right partner, and it can be a very mutually beneficial thing. You can open each other's eyes to ways to grow in your own way. And there's different. They say two heads are better than one. In the same sense, I think when you're working together with someone, you open up more possibilities because you have two heads working on the same issues that we all face in life.
Well, same cookie we're discussing also, but that's a whole different meaning to heads. So Ellie, did you understand what he said?
I understood that. What I realized during our relationship is that Luke is bringing. I'm becoming. It's not a better, but my true self.
Authentic, becoming more authentic.
Yes.
More
yes,
who you are.
Yes. More who I am. That's what I realized during that.
And who are you? Which is my next question.
Who am I?
Yeah, no. So when I had fights with people before in a relationship, they would accuse me and say, "You don't know who I am," and I say to them, "Who are you?" Well, I don't know, but you don't know who I am either. It's like nobody knows who the hell they are. So you know how that relationship ended, Luke? Because I you know me on the streets of Varna, I raised my hand. Does anybody know who this woman is? Hello? I have no idea. She has no idea. You should have seen her walk away. Just never saw her after that. I don't know why.
You were just asking about who are you and who our most authentic self is. And I think our most authentic self is the one that loves fully. And to be able to love fully, you have to be able to love. You have to be able to release all fears, because it's hard to love when you have built up fears. They're the only blockages to love. And so I believe when you have the right relationship, you open yourself up to these new possibilities, because sometimes it's easier to face these fears together. And you just went on sleep mode. Here, there we go. And when you're working in a congruent team, everything opens up, and you realize that you can do things you never were able to before, and see those new possibilities.
So what you're saying is that love is the absence of fear.
Absolutely. I think fear is what fuels most of the hate in the world.
All right. Fear of the unknown, fear of xenophobia, other people, other cultures, so on and so forth. How do we fix that? I mean, easy for you guys because you're male, female, you attracted to each other. So it's easy. You go to the bedroom, you fix stuff. You get over your fear. How do people fix that in real life? I mean, on the street?
I think the biggest step is self-awareness. And when you are aware of yourself and your fears, you know exactly how to conquer them.
But nobody wants to say that they're wrong, and nobody wants to say that they have fear. Nobody wants to say.
I don't think anyone out there is wrong. They're living from their state of perception. And all it takes is when you travel deeper within yourself and you can perceive yourself fully, you can make that switch, and that conscious switch, to relieve yourself of any kind of fears, of any kind of doubts. And that is when you're truly living in love and authentically.
So you and Ellie were not raised in the same schools, not raised with the same parents, completely different backgrounds, cultures, all of that. You have differences. between both of you, right? A lot of differences. So how did you direct your mind to say to yourself that I'm going to find common ground or something? What was the key? What was the spark? What was the thing? I mean, apart from physical bodies, da 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 da, what was that mental, emotional spark? Because you can have this with any body on the planet, but what was this that allowed you to say, this is the one?
I'll let you start first, Ellie.
He threw you under the bus. Now it's your turn.
That is what I said before, for sure, that he's bringing the authentic myself out in me, that I've been growing a lot during our relationship, and the way he makes me feel, and the way I love to be surrounded by him, and
if he continues to grow, you might be completely surrounded by him soon.
I hope.
As soon as I can get back in the gym, I'm putting 20 pounds back on.
Yeah, you're putting 20 pounds back on. Okay, yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted. So
no worries at all. And we've been experiencing so much. We've been oh my God.
Growing.
Growing. Yeah, I'm going in circles right now.
Going in circles is just like the movies, the old Hindi movies and Chinese movies. They go in circles around bushes and trees. Is that what you mean? No, that's not what you mean.
No.
Oh, okay.
I think, Luke.
Well, for what it was for me anyway is, when I started this entrepreneurial journey with my dad, I did a lot of personal growing from where I was before. And when I branched out on my own and started with a couple of my own ventures, I dived deep into a lot of self-help. I was on the Tony Robbins bandwagon, listening to a lot of what my dad taught growing up as a kid helped immensely. And, I went through all these, different ways to better myself. And I did well in the business world, but there's still a piece of me that was charged a little bit negatively, thinking the worst of people because of my experiences in the business world. And when I met Ellie, I saw how she greeted people and how she approached people, and just so effortlessly, and just without fear, out in the coffee shop here or there, and there was nothing held back. And that to me, as I spent a couple months with her, that was something I really admired, because it was something that I didn't learn to do myself yet. And so it was something that I was able to learn from her, and I still am learning from her sometimes. And when I realized exactly the type of person she was, I just knew. And I said, that's someone I want to spend the rest of my life with. Someone that is constantly trying to improve herself, someone who's constantly finding the best in others and finding the best in any situation. We've been through absolute hell together in a variety of ways, throughout our time together. And not once have I heard her complain. She's always found the silver lining.
I noticed that too.
When I finally realized that, I've had a lot of people come into my life and they were not being their authentic selves, putting on a show because they wanted to get closer to me for X, Y, or Z reason. And this was the first woman I found that really just wanted nothing else but to be and to grow together. And when I realized that, I decided to propose. Actually, I think there's up here is a
Mhm,
picture of us at Tomorrowland.
I see that.
The question.
Cool. I noticed that too. That some people, you have inert chemicals. You put them here, nothing happens. Put them here, but together they become something better, something explosive, or something that is more useful, and so you become a catalyst for each other to grow, which is good, and you know that there's a lot more growing to do. So it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be positive all the way, but hey, I don't know who was the idiot who wrote that is love forever and all we need is love. They didn't. Even the Bee Gees. No, is it Bee Gees? No, Beatles who wrote that song, right? All we need is love. Weren't they divorced and married several times? Yeah. So all they needed was not love. They needed a lot. Yeah, yeah. It wasn't Ringo Starr divorced and married? Wasn't Paul McCartney divorced and married? Wasn't our friend became Yoko Ono at some point, and so on and so forth? So
Absolutely.
all we need is love. And sometimes the people out there who are singing these songs have no clue, and they're giving you all this actually songs. Then that's all they are, and we should be maybe building anchors with them for the right one, or in this case the left one. Oh, which one is this? The right one. But she's on your right now, so that's a whole different story, right or left. But Luke and Ellie, thank you very much for being on this show, and I appreciate your answers. I wanted to talk about love a little bit. I'm going to have a surprise guest come on Friday. I won't announce who this guest is, but everybody who's live can probably ask questions of this person and see if they're still okay with it. So far, they've said yes, and so they'll see what their schedule is like. And if this person comes on, and then we'll ask questions and decide. Excuse me. To talk about possibility thinking in another level, and relationships with yourself, with each other is important. What about your relationship with the universe? What about your relationships with money? What about your relationships with your city, your condition, your community, and so on and so forth? The good thing about this is your grandparents had a chance to listen to both of you now, to see how you really feel about each other, and how Ellie depends on you for all the answers instead of coming up with them herself. I'm just kidding, Ellie. It's a joke. So,
fair, we are still working through jet lag. I think she got about 1 hour of sleep yesterday.
Oh dear. Yes.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yes. So, one thought, one summary, one sentence to help me close the show. We'll start with Ellie. Ellie?
Yes, thank you so much, Mel, for having me here on such short notice. Luke just threw me into that show.
You did
and you did brilliant and all of that, and you can slap the shit out of him later. Yeah, okay, good. But
thank you so much.
But
Mel.
parting advice to people listening about love. Parting advice to how to keep their love going, especially if they've been married. We never addressed it during the whole thing. We talk about new love, young love, all of this, fresh love. What about stale love? What about the people who've been married for, I don't know, when does it get stale? 7 years? 7-year itch, and I'm just going on that. Or 15 years? I have no idea. How do you stop? I feel like I'm about to write a song. How do you keep the music playing? How do you keep love fresh? Besides,
love fresh, I think.
Yeah, besides showering, but how do you keep love fresh?
I think the most important thing is that everyone is in balance with her and himself, to find happiness for yourself. And once you are happy, you bring this into the relationship, and automatically that relationship will grow and will totally work out. I think that
I like that.
Listen to your gut feeling, communicate, and
Absolutely.
Go out, find your happiness, find your joy,
Yes.
and bring it into the relationship. Instead of bringing misery to the relationship, bring
Yeah.
joy and happiness.
Yes.
Wow. Good. That's
Thank you.
wonderful. Ellie, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Luke, final
I think
statements.
Piggybacking off of what Ellie said, yeah, you have to find happiness in yourself before you find it anywhere else. And you have to, be able to bring that into your significant relationships. Another huge piece of advice I would give is, and you can apply this to your business as well as your relationships, is so many people in this world are focused on the goal. They have this goal they want to achieve, the perfect relationship, this certain level of success, whatever it is. And, as long as you're looking at that goal, it's always going to be something that's farther away. It's always going to be something you're comparing yourself to. But if you fall in love with the process of whatever you're doing, whether it's business or love, when you fall in love with the process of love, the daily steps you take to make your relationship great, the daily steps each and every little thing you can do just to put that extra smile on your partner's face, or to, work on yourself to better communicate better. When you truly fall in love with the process of love, then the goal is achieved.
So, to summarize, enjoy the journey while you're getting to the orgasm. I mean, sorry,
Exactly.
to the goal. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Both of you,
Journey lasts
thank
longer.
you. Make the journey last longer. Good night to both of you. Thank you for joining me. Luke, thank you. And that was Luke and Ellie, who gave us a little idea about what love is, what love can be, what can it not be. I mean, those are very tough questions I threw at the young man, and just wanted to know if he was paying attention to me as we were talking about simple things to grow a relationship. And to summarize everything they said, you'll have to kind of pick through the excessive talk there in between. The points were basically to try and seek to understand before trying to be understood, which is what Luke and Ellie were talking about. And what they were also saying is that you need to slow down your communication. It doesn't matter if you're from different cultures and so on and so forth. You're already from different backgrounds. So you need to slow down your communication to be able to truly hear your partner. And like Luke and Ellie was saying, I don't know if you picked it up, but they said it in different language. You also had to be the kind of person that would be curious about what your partner's thoughts are and perspectives are on what is, what they're doing in life and so on and so forth. And also, I don't know if you heard it in some of the things and examples that Luke was talking about, and Ellie tended to agree by nodding her head a lot, that you needed to recognize the emotional triggers that your partner raises in you. And I tried to do that with Ellie quite a bit, boom, 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 with Luke. And you notice that as she did that, she found a way to self-soothe at the same time. So if you can apply it in your life to be able to self-soothe yourself when you find that your partner is triggering those emotional triggers from your past, from past relationships, whatever it might be, that you find a way to self-soothe and not demand that of your partner and do it yourself, then everything changes at that point. And also, if you listen to in between the words in that relationship when that interview was not fair, you need to practice using empathy to foster this closer connection. In other words, like I said before, check your intention when you start to communicate seriously with your spouse or significant other. Is your intention to heal or to hurt? And that intention will moderate your tone of voice, your body language, and also the words that you use at the same time. What Luke talked about an hour ago was to listen for hidden, unmet, unexpressed needs or emotions or emotional states. And if you paid attention to that, then you start to understand that there is no such thing as criticism or blame, because you can't criticize or blame somebody for your ability or inability to communicate. So if a person is receiving, there's an ant crawling near my camera again. Anyway, regardless, if a person is receiving a lot of negativity from you, or what they perceive as negativity, then they will become hostile towards you. So in other words, the meaning of your communication is the response that you get. And if your response is hostile, then you need to change that meaning. Find the hidden emotion, unmet need, whatever, and then blow it back and in a better way, in a softer way, in a way in which you will get the response that you want. And finally, I think both of them said it together in the end. You need to kind of anticipate issues that you have, well, kind of before they become issues. So all in all, a relationship will grow if you have all of these things to pay attention to. All of these things that you can turn into strengths instead of allowing them to be weaknesses and therefore pulling your relationship into downward spirals. So this is the most important thing. We are out of time, and I wanted to close and bring on Friday a discussion with a surprise guest who's going to be talking to us about relationships and states of mind and possibility thinking when it comes to being happy, not just with relationships, but personal relationships, emotional relationships, mental relationships you have with others, and also work relationships that you have with others. So you've been listening to a program called Uncommon Sense, now called Possibility Thinking, with Dr. Mel Gill. Good night, everyone. And before you go, as always, I want to leave you with a thought, and I brought this up with Luke just now. When we have a fear, or a fear of what is different, to direct the mind towards this basic unity of all things, that we are all connected, and to divert it from the seizing of differences, well, that's where possibility comes in. That's where you start to realize that bliss begins as a spark in any relationship, and therefore makes it into the joy, into the loveliness that it is, that you look forward to being with the one, because they bring out that good in you. They don't pull you back into the mud. They don't pull you back into the past, where all growing relationships do not belong. See, the eye can see what we have in common with others, or focus on the things that keep us apart. And the heart can feel what joins us with everything, or replay the many cuts and wounds that it had. And the tongue, well, the tongue can praise the wind or warn against the storm, and it can also praise the sea or dread the flood. So it's not that there are no differences. The world is made of infinite variety of people and differences and things. Rather, it is the seizing of differences, the fearing of differences, that keeps us from feeling grace. Paradoxically, everything in life touches the same center through the fact that it's unique, through its own uniqueness. The way that no two souls are the same, though every soul breathes in the same air. So when we fall into the illusion that one creation is better than another, we remove ourselves from the miracle of being, and we enter into what the 6th century sage Seng San called the mind's worst disease. The endless deciding between want and don't want. The endless war between for and against. The battle that has no consequence. The war that ends with suffering. So to live in an enlightened state and to realize that you deserve everything good means that more of what you experience will sound like, feel like, taste like love. abundance, happiness. And isn't that what we want in the end anyway? So whether it comes in the form of a relationship or the sweet nectar of aloneness, either way, it comes from within. Good night.